When it comes to disciple making, there are at least three foundational, fundamental questions that we need to ask and attempt to answer. And it's really important that these questions build upon one another because they lay a foundation, they take us somewhere, but only if we put them in the right order. If we get them out of order, then they take us somewhere else. And so what happens is we make disciples, but the question is, are we making the right kind of disciples? Are we making what I call gospel disciples? And if we start in a different order than I'm going to suggest, and unfortunately sometimes we end up at a radically different place. But the first question is, what is the gospel? And this is the foundational question because the gospel is the foundational issue in our Christian community. It's the story of God. It's the story of redemption, renewal, and ultimately restoration. And it serves as our lens into everything else in life. It's a worldview, in other words. And so what we're doing is discipling people to a very specific worldview, not a religious worldview, not a Christian worldview, but a gospel worldview. We're becoming followers of Jesus and his ways, in other words. The second question that we have to answer is very specifically, well, just what is a gospel disciple then? Or maybe the other question is, what is our mission? And our mission is a disciple-making mission. And so we're forced to ask the question, hey, so what is that? What is a disciple? I mean, what are the foundational teachings? What are the foundational elements of a disciple? And then lastly, we answer the question, what is the church? Because what we understand is the church has doesn't have a mission, but the mission has a church. And the church is the expression of a disciple. And in our church planning processes, when we are leading others in developing their churches, we talk about planning the gospel, making disciples, and then forming the church around those disciples. And that's radically different than a lot of what we're seeing today. And the challenge is if we begin with church, then it's very easy to make disciples of the institutional church, people who volunteer, people who serve in or participate in a group, or attend weekend worship, or invite a friend, but they never connect with the gospel. And if that happens, we haven't made a true disciple. And often we can even deceive ourselves. So asking those fundamental questions are key to getting started on this journey of creating a disciple-making culture.